Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah. If you're new here, welcome. This video is going to be about the 10 things I don't waste money on. I am or was $109,000 in debt. I'm still working on that debt, but inshallah will be debt free from student loans within the next few months. I make a 6-figure salary, alhamdulillah. And despite all of this, I am just someone who's very mindful about what I spend my money on. I just feel like if it's not worth it to me, I'm not going to. Now, especially in this time of my life when I'm just trying to pay off debt as quickly as possible, I'm very mindful where I put my dollars. And so these are 10 things that I just don't waste my money on. So the first thing is manicures. So hear me out. I like nails, as you can see. I like to keep mine healthy and clean, but I have trouble spending money on manicures. And when I was growing up, we didn't really get manicures. It was kind of a luxury that we just simply could not afford. And so it never was a thing to get them in the first place. And the reality of it is I'm someone who's a practicing Muslim. And if you don't know, Muslim women do not pray while they're on their period. And so that was the only time that I would ever have nail polish on. Editing Hannah here, I realized I completely forgot to explain the whole nail polish thing. So, before Muslims pray, any Muslim man or woman, we do a ritualistic washing called wudu. In order for that washing to be valid, and therefore your prayer to be valid, water has to touch your nails. And so you cannot have the typical nail polish and be able to make wudu. It just doesn't work. There are some water permeable ones that's questionable, but in general, most nail polish does not work. So if you are a practicing Muslim who takes their prayer seriously, you don't wear nail polish unless you are not praying, and that is only during your period if you're a woman. Now back to the video. And so one, it never made sense to me to really drop $50, $60, $70, $80 to get my nails done for 1 week. And usually it would only be by the second and third day that I would even remember that I could put nail polish on. That's one. Two, if I was going to get if I was going to get a manicure, it didn't make sense for me to get acrylic or gel or something that would be difficult to take off, because again, it would have to come off completely for me to be able to start praying again. And so I didn't want to ruin my nails. I didn't want to be sitting there trying to figure out, well, let me soak my fingers in acetone and all these crazy things you have to do to get them off. Number 2 is makeup wipes. I do not buy makeup wipes. And most people, I feel like makeup wipes are on their way out, but even when it was the main way that people got their makeup off, I just didn't like investing in them. I found very early on they had a very strong chemical smell. I didn't like the way they felt on my face. I felt like they were drying. When they got too close to my eyes, it would burn my eyes, and it was just like, why am I wasting money on this? There's got to be a better way. And I did find better ways, which lo and behold, we figure out, years later that you can remove makeup with something that's oil-based. And so I basically used to use petroleum jelly, Vaseline, to get my eye makeup off, and it works very well, by the way, as a makeup trick. But then I would use some sort of oil for my face, and then I would go ahead and wash again. So I was doing double cleansing before double cleansing was a thing, but I don't buy makeup wipes for that reason. Number 3 is I don't really buy cold and flu medication. Now, first and foremost, alhamdulillah, I don't get sick very often. Last year, I was getting sick pretty often, actually. Let me take that back. But prior to that, it wasn't super common that I would get sick. Maybe a cold once a year or so. And I would just kind of tough it out. I don't know, I'm a little more, it's funny that I'm saying this as a PA, but when it comes to symptomatic treatment, I'd rather try the at-home remedies, like the tea with lemon or honey and things like that to help my symptoms. And those really do help when I have kind of a sore or itchy throat. The warm fluids really do help with that. So I just don't buy cold and flu medication. Number 4 is candles. I do not buy candles. I own 2 candles, but both of them were gifted, and honestly, I don't burn them very much. When I was younger, I had really bad allergies, and things that were perfumed very often would basically kickstart my allergies. So I kind of stayed away from them. And then once the allergies lifted, I found out kind of about the level of toxins that a lot of those candles carry, and then burning those candles lifts the toxins in the air. And I'm trying to be a little more health conscious about what I'm allowing into my body in terms of what I can actually control in my environment. So I try to avoid those. Am I completely opposed to candles? No. If I can find ones that are toxin free, I'm sure at one point it would be nice to have them, but just right now it's not something I care too much about. The next thing is perfume. I don't buy perfume. The perfume that I have, if I want perfume specifically, I typically will ask for it as a gift, like a birthday gift or something of that sort. And I just mentioned like 3 separate times that I used to have really bad allergies. Perfume, a lot of perfumes were a trigger for those allergies. So I had to be very picky about the kind of perfume I even had. So I have, I think, 3 main scents that I use. 1 was a gift, 2 I got as a sample. Number 6 is souvenirs. I'm not a big souvenir person. I never was. I feel like I've always been a minimalist at heart. I never liked having things that were just reminders. I felt like if I really wanted a reminder, I can take a picture or have the memory in my head. So if I have traveled to any place, I don't bring something back unless it has utility, unless it's an item that I know I'm going to wear, unless it's an item I'm going to use around the house, something that's going to make my life easier. Otherwise, I'm not bringing back a souvenir. Number 7 is flowers. I don't buy flowers. I like receiving flowers. I don't buy them. 2 reasons. 1 is, they're pretty for a week or 2 and then they go away. And 2 is I'm really bad at taking care of plants. So I know I'm not going to upkeep them. So it ends up being an even bigger waste of money because then the longevity that they would have otherwise had goes completely to waste. So I don't really buy flowers for that reason. Number 8 is I don't buy graphic tees. Now, it's funny because I actually chose to wear one today. This was a gift. This was a birthday gift from my best friend. It's actually one of my favorite birthday gifts. But otherwise, graphic tees, it's not really a huge part of my style for me to be buying them. And yeah, so I just don't buy them. Drinks. Let me explain this one. When I say drinks, I don't mean alcoholic beverages. I mean, I don't really buy coffee or smoothies or even when I'm out at a restaurant, pop. And a few different reasons. 1, I don't drink coffee. I don't really drink caffeinated drinks. I'm very sensitive to caffeine, so I try to avoid them. And 2 is I try to be very mindful of my sugar intake in general. And so I'm not a big pop drinker. And I used to be when I was really young. And then as an adult, honestly, I probably drink it maybe 2 to 3 times a year. And that's almost exclusively at weddings. Number 10 is jewelry. And this one is actually, I realized it was a little bit of a lie later on. But let me clarify this. I don't buy outfit-specific jewelry. I try to go for very timeless, classic pieces that I know I'm going to get tremendous use out of. I had to buy a bunch of earrings because I got several ear piercings, and I needed to make sure that once they were, the first piercing they put on, that one ends up getting removed and you have to put something on instead. Yeah, that one ended up being a purchase of jewelry that I did get, but those pieces have been very useful for me. So those were 10 things that I don't buy, guys. I hope that this was enjoyable, at least, and I hope it kind of inspires you to start thinking about what are some things maybe you can spend less on, or what are things that you don't really spend money on, and what's the reason why. If you guys like this sort of content, then please hit that like button and subscribe for more. See ya.